So I am working on the historic rehab strategy for a circa 1873 Tuscan Revival villa in Hudson. And my first task is to immerse myself in the design inspiration of the time. Hi, I'm Kate Wood, and my assignment is to develop a historic rehabilitation strategy. The first thing I did, I started with a site consultation where I helped them to identify all of the character defining features and then to come up with some preliminary recommendations for priorities in order to make this house that is 150 years old function in the 21st century, because that's what rehabilitation is all about. We're not trying to take it back to the 1870s. We're not renovating it to make it seem completely new. We're trying to find that sweet spot between the best of the 19th century and what's livable today. There are so many amazing features of this house. After I did that initial site consultation, I went and did homework in my library, taking books that really helped me immerse myself in the 19th century, and particularly in the Italianate and also moving into the aesthetic movement, which was a time when people were very conscious of design as being important to the well-being of society, really. The home, good design, it was all part of making sure that we had great families, great communities. It was good for our soul to have good design. Some of these books, like The Grammar of Ornament by Owen Jones or Hints on Household Taste by Charles Eastlake, these would have been on every homeowner's bookshelf in the 1870s. And they would have looked towards the inspiration here to help them design a good home. So some of the pages that I've marked in Owen Jones are like Roman and Italian Renaissance, because, this is an Italianate house. And so some of the ornament is very classical. So it wasn't that was completely out of the picture, but there was also being very influenced by more exotic patterns from all over the world. This house was built right before the Centennial Exhibition in Philadelphia, which was celebrating industry and products created all over the world, but especially in this country, and also starting to look back at colonial America. I also went to this catalog from a 1980s exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum of Art called In Pursuit of Beauty. And this actually takes me back to my first job out of college when I was an administrative assistant in the American Wing at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So this was a celebration of the aesthetic movement, this idea that you could have an artistic home, that every element, every feature of your home would be beautiful. To kind of get myself in the spirit, I looked at paintings and some photographs of late 19th century interiors, the different kinds of wallpaper that would have been used, the colors, the way that they would have organized the decoration on the walls, from the wainscoting to the wall to the cornice to bands of color and borders. It's all very inspiring. The stained glass. So you really get a sense of what people in the 1870s, 1880s thought was beautiful. Some of this, of course, it's in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So some of this is very high-end, one-of-a-kind custom work. A house like this would have had many products, materials that could have been ordered from a catalog and were, in fact, being mass-produced either in this country or in England, very much inspired by the work of great artists at the time. One of my favorite interiors is that of Frederick Church's Olana, which is, Frederick Church was a Hudson River painter. His house is just down the road from here, literally 5 miles from here, was built at exactly the same time. And just the sort of riot of color and texture and pattern that you see at Olana would have been very familiar to people in this period. Church was an innovator. The people who lived in this house were probably, they're upper middle class professionals who would have had aspirations to create a beautiful interior like Olana or like, houses in New York City, but would have been relying on things that they could order and create. Just to point out, the artistic interior, like this is the interior of Olana. This kind of combination of color, of pattern, of texture would have been the way people were thinking about their interiors at the time. We can translate that into the 21st century and give this house back some of its architectural and design presence without doing a period restoration. We are just getting started on this project. We're going to be at it for months. And if you want to follow along and get all the inside scoop, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you there.